Okay. Creaky floor. Yeah, creaky floors, but we can't do anything about that.
It's character.
Okay. This is Elizabeth, Way, Matt. We're here today talking with Martina about the Washington Park neighborhood. It's June 16th. Would you introduce yourself, maybe?
I am Martina Patterson, and I live in the Washington Park neighborhood. And tomorrow's my birthday.
Happy birthday.
Thank
Happy
you.
birthday. There's just a short form that we need to go over, the risks and benefits. There are no risks to this other than that you won't be anonymous, and when we do put the work online, we'll be using your name. And there's no benefits other than your voice will become part of an archive and history for the Washington Park neighborhood. If there's any information that you wish to redact after the interview, we have the contact information of our professor here, so you can contact him and he'll sort it out for you. Do you agree to this?
I agree.
Okay, great. And then we're going to need you to sign this. Thank you.
Printed name.
Are these bad boys?
Sure.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, we'll probably just ask some kind of basic, simple questions first, like when were you born and where were you born, kind of thing. So,
Okay.
were you born around this neighborhood? Did you grow up here?
I was born in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, I believe, like Roosevelt or Booth Street or somewhere like that. Obviously, I can't recall. And then when I was about 11 or 12, we moved to this neighborhood on 40th Street. The house is still there, but it looks nothing like it did when I grew up there. So, and I stayed there until I went to college.
And how has the house changed, do you think?
It looks like a Habitat for Humanity's house now. It doesn't look anything like it did before, with more character. I liked the way it looked before, but I haven't seen the inside because somebody lives there. But yeah, they changed. They took the front. It was an indoor front porch with windows all the way around, and that's not even on the house anymore. It has a lot less windows on the house overall.
What was your first impression of the neighborhood when you arrived?
That I don't know. I was probably like 10, like I said, 11 or 12. So I don't know. I guess just like a new area. I wasn't really allowed to go outside much because it was probably more crime back then than it is. But I haven't read any statistics to see if that's true or not.
And do you feel like that's changed at all since you've been here?
I feel like, to a certain extent, it has changed. Because when we lived over there, it was like obvious crime. Like there was a corner store, people, a lot of traffic going to and from the corner store. There was a drug house across the street. Police would have raided it at least 3 times. Shootings and things like that, but now it doesn't seem like it's as heavy, you know. It seems like if you call the police, they'll actually show up, but then it seemed like it took like a half hour before they came. Somebody tried to break in our house one time, and we called the police, and they didn't show up till like 45 minutes later, but by then the person was gone. So I think if we call the police now, they would probably come, I hope.
Right after.
Yeah. because the police station isn't that far, so why would it take so long? No.
And so you moved here with your parents, did you say?
Yes, when my parents were still together when I was like 11 or 12, yeah. We moved to that house on 40th Street, but like I said, I lived there until I graduated high school, and then I moved to Chicago and other places. And then now I'm back in Milwaukee.
Why are you back in Milwaukee?
Well, at the time it was because of job situations, and now I'm here because I want to be here. But at first it was like, I don't want to move back, but I like my decision. I like living here.
Yeah. What kind of parts of the neighborhood, I guess, drew you back? Like, did you have like fond kind of feelings about the neighborhood, I guess, maybe?
Yeah, about growing up in that particular house. But I like the location because it's easy for me to get to wherever I need to because I bike. And it seems like a central location, and I work really close. I work at Express Yourself Milwaukee, which is like right across the alley. And then I work at the dry cleaner on 32nd and North Avenue. So I can either walk to work or bike or... Yeah, and then the bus lines are really close too.
I have a friend that works at Express Yourself.
Hey.
Yeah, she's called Emily.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I don't know if you know her. Anyway.
I know two Emilys that worked there who were both interns.
Oh, okay. So that's interesting that you said that your old house now looks like a Habitat for Humanity house. What do you think actually happened? They just renovated it, someone?
Yeah, I think it was just renovation to try to improve it because it was such an old house. It did need a lot of work, but if we were able to, if my father, because he owned the house, if he was able to stay there, excuse me, I think it would have been beneficial to fix up what was already the way it was, you know what I'm saying? But it might have been more cost effective, I guess, to do it the way they did it.
Do you have any kind of strong memories of the house that you grew up in?
Yes, I believe that it was haunted.
Really?
Yes, that's a fond memory. I'm not crazy, but I do believe that in spirits and stuff. Christmases were really nice, and New Year. All of our family would come, so it was a full house during the holidays. And graduation ceremonies and birthdays and things like that, all the family would gather.
Big family?
Kind of, I guess. My immediate family, no, but like uncles and cousins and everybody else would come. So.
And are they local?
Yeah, they all live in Milwaukee, yes. Well, not now. A lot of them have dispersed from Milwaukee, but yeah, they're from here.
So is that, do you have any kind of memories of other parts of Milwaukee, I guess, like connections that you have? Is that one of the reasons why you're drawn to staying here?
I like the art community here. I like my jobs and the people that I've come in contact with since I've been back, building relationships and stuff like that.
What's your favorite part of the Washington Park neighborhood?
I like the convenience of everything being, like, you can get to it closely. I like the park, the actual Washington Park. I like Amaranth Bakery. Yeah. And of course I like Express Yourself because I work there.
What's your least favorite part of the Washington Park neighborhood?
The ridiculous attitudes of some people that are greedy, meaning thieves or people that just have nothing better to do, so they'll break your window. Like, why would you do that? Like, you could put that effort into planting a flower or something. Why would you just break someone's window like that? Or, for example, someone stole my bike out of the garage. So you took the time to break into the garage and take my bike. Like, you could have done something better with your time. But I hope they enjoy my bike.
Do you have friends that have had similar experiences like that?
Not that I know of. My friends don't really live. Well, I have a couple friends that don't live too far from here, but sometimes people are like, "What? Oh my goodness, I can't believe that happened." Because they can just leave their bike wherever, you know.
So your friends don't necessarily live around this neighborhood. I'm wondering if you have any kind of relationships with your neighbors.
I speak to them. We're friendly, but we don't like hang out or anything. I don't mind hanging out.
What kind of changes, you spoke about the changes that you've seen in the neighborhood over time, but what kind of changes do you wish to see?
People that live over here being more connected, other than us just speaking and saying hi. If we have a neighborhood block party or something that involves everyone so that we can get to know each other better. I think when you're more connected with the people you live, I mean, we're so close in the vicinity, so why wouldn't we do something more with each other? And we can look out for each other. Like this family that lives on that side, there's an older man and woman, and sometimes they sit on their porch and they kind of look out for what if my dad leaves tools outside or something like that. Once he left his binoculars over there, and they took them so nobody else would steal them, but they came and brought them back. You know, they weren't stealing, they were trying to look out, like, oh, you forgot your binoculars. So stuff like that, you know. And one of my dad's friends accidentally drove his car over that ledge. So the older guy came and helped them move the car back onto the into the alley. So, you know, help each other, you know.
That's quite sweet.
Yeah. He even helped them take down the fence when we moved in. Yeah.
That's nice.
So you think there's an important part of like the idea of the neighborhood as being looking out for other people in a way?
Yeah, I think community has a lot to do with thriving. You know, because if you're, instead of not necessarily striving, because when you strive, it's like, oh, I'm going to reach over this person to make sure I have food, forget about them. But when you thrive, you work together. Like, okay, well, I'm going to plant this food so we all can eat, you know.
It's funny that you use that analogy. I was just going to ask about the kind of community gardens around here. Are you involved in any of them?
I am not, but I did take some vegetables from the one next to Amaranth.
Really?
Yeah.
How did that work?
They were delicious. I mean, Dave, the owner of the bakery, he said, you know, help yourself. So I did. I took some raspberries and stuff.
What, you could just go there and take it?
Yeah, you could just go over there and take what you want.
It's really good.
Yeah. As long as, obviously, you don't get greedy and help keep it up to par or whatever.
So do you have any, oh, your sister, is that your only sibling?
I have two brothers. One lives in Arkansas. One lives here in Milwaukee on the far north side.
And why did you choose to live here with your sister?
Well, that wasn't like an obvious choice. I chose to live here with me, and then I decided to get a cat. And then my sister asked, could she stay here? And I said, sure. Because she moved in when she was still in high school. So,
How old is your sister?
18.
How old are you?
I'll be 30 tomorrow.
So what did your sister do here?
As far as...
I'm now studying.
Well, she's not in college yet because she just finished high school, kind of, and I don't know what she plans to do. I would have to delve into the conversation with her.
Did you grow up in the same house as her?
No, we didn't. She has a different mother than I do.
You said you took college, right?
Yes.
So what's your major?
I went to school for fashion design.
Fashion design?
Yes,
So
in Chicago.
in Chicago. That's cool.
The Art Institute, but not the one connected to the museum. The AI. Even though this is being recorded, I will speak honestly. That school is, I don't recommend that school for anybody. But the teachers are nice.
Did you know a teacher called Linda Keane?
No,
No.
it doesn't sound familiar.
Someone connected to UWM. Let's see. So, when your parents were here, did they have an occupation or job? What were they doing?
Yeah, my dad worked for a factory. He had several jobs, but like the same or the similar position, like driving a forklift, driving a semi-truck. My mom worked for the county at the welfare department.
How did they find their jobs?
I don't know. My mom is retired from that. She worked there for like 25 or 30 years or something. My dad is kind of retired. He's on disability now, so he doesn't need to or have to work because he can't. But I'm not sure exactly how they found those jobs so long ago.
Do they still live around here?
Yeah, my dad lives downstairs.
Oh.
And my mom lives on the north side with my brother.
That's interesting that your dad lives downstairs.
Yeah. He might be down there now if you want to ask him some questions.
Yeah, so like what's that like having your dad live downstairs?
It's cool. Yeah.
Because it's like you're separate, but then at the same time it's just...
Yeah, I don't mind.
How old is he?
60.
Okay, cool. So, what was school like here?
High school, or I went to 1 year college here at Mount Mary. So which one would you like to know about?
High school first would be...
The high school, I went to Mesmer, and Mesmer Catholic High School, and it was all right. I exceeded in my classes. I don't know. Yeah, it was just like high school would be. You know, people make fun of you sometimes. Yeah, I have a couple friends. Yeah. I was involved in some extracurriculars, but not a whole lot.
Did your friends move far away from the neighborhood, or did some of them stay, or what was that like?
I don't think anybody. Well, one friend lived not too far from me when we were living on 40th Street. She lived Juno by that, like off of 35th, near there, where there's a McDonald's over there or something like that. And she still lives in Milwaukee, but she lives on the north side. Other people, I only hung out with like 2 people in high school, so I don't know what happened to the other. I think she works for the library now, actually. I don't know about other people.
Because I mean, I'm obviously not from here at all, but like, I haven't seen that many just kids around. Kind of, we're quite interested in the idea of play and like, on Lisbon there's a lot of vacant spaces which are being improvised by people in different ways. Do you have any memories from your childhood about playing?
Well, I didn't play with any children in the neighborhood. I played in the backyard with the dog. And there were children out sometimes, but they would throw rocks at, like, if the dog and I were in the backyard. It's just bad. Well, the children aren't bad. Their behavior was bad. So I don't really have any memories of playing like that. I mean, over my grandmother's house, but she doesn't live in this area. She lived like at Keefe, 17th and Keefe. And we would play outside over there all the time.
So what changes you expect to happen here?
What do I expect to happen?
What changes?
Like, as far as the vacant lots that she was talking about and stuff, that would be nice to make it an area for children to play. More, I think maybe enforce some of these non-for-profit organizations that are in the neighborhood, like Express Yourself. We have open mics and things for the children and summer camp and stuff, but it seems like some of the parents in the area don't know about it. And I think if the children had something productive to do, then they wouldn't do these other things like breaking windows and throwing rocks and stuff like that. Yeah.
So you said that you work at Express Yourself. I was just wondering if you could explain a typical day for you in relation to, you know, where you're moving around in the neighborhood, and
Okay. Well, last semester, if you want to call it that, or last year, when I was working at Express Yourself and the cleaners on the same days, that would be like maybe like a Wednesday, for example. Okay, so yeah, Wednesday. When I get up, get ready, walk to the cleaners, or either bike to the cleaners at like 9 or 8:30, and then because I'm a seamstress there, so I do all my repairs, leave by like 3 or 2:30. If I have more, then I leave later. And then I would go to Express Yourself at 4 o'clock to prep for whatever art project we had to do. We had been working on sound suits, so I had to prep all of the inner tube or all of the fabric. And then by 5 or 4:30. I can't remember right now. Because it was a girls group just for young women. They would come in. We would do our session. It was like me and four or five other team members. And we would do our typical session, like with the singing and the warm up and our art project. And then when that group was over at 6, I would prep my container or bag, because then we had to go to a group home or shelter for all girls. Get there at like 6:30 or 7 and be done with that at like 9, and then come home, eat something, and go to bed and do it over.
So you do a lot of work with young women, express yourself?
Those two groups, yes, but I also was a part of a couple other groups, like at Westside Academy, where it was second and third graders, boys and girls. And then I also was part of the Saint A team, which is like a boys group home / school, because they live there and they go to school there, but it's just for boys. So like a boys and girls, different age range.
I only bring it up because we're interested a little bit about gender and space and what it's like to be a young woman kind of moving around, having agency to kind of move around in a neighborhood like this.
Yeah.
If you have any thoughts on that?
I would say don't be naive. If you just move to this area, act like you know where you're going, because somebody might recognize that you don't know where you're going, and they might take advantage of that, like, hey, give me your money, or try to lead you on, like, oh, this is the way you need to go. Just be aware of your surroundings. Yeah, but don't come at it with a negative attitude, like somebody's gonna rob you, because not everybody's like that.
You said that you ride a bike. Do you find it easy to get about around here and travel?
Yes. Well, it was. Somebody's riding my bike now, getting around.
Yeah.
Yeah. So now I just walk.
Just walk everywhere.
Yeah.
And do you take the bus sometimes?
I take the bus sometimes. I have a car, but I don't always drive.
Because the roads around here are quite busy, really, for cars. They're just driving through a lot.
Yeah, that sometimes people seem like they try to show off, and they just speed through these side streets, running the stop signs, and that's how people get hurt. Like, just take your time. What's the rush? You're on a side street. Nobody cares about you bumping your music,
Were there less cars around when you were growing up here?
Nah, it seemed to be, if not more, basically the same, but it might have been a little bit more because we lived on 40th Street, and that was closer to Sherman, so might have been a little bit more traffic.
How do you think that the traffic kind of actually affects the areas, like what it's like to live by a road that's got a lot of traffic?
I never thought about it, I guess. Well, actually, I take that last statement. Let me correct, because this street here is not a lot of traffic. It only seems to be a lot because of the construction on North Avenue, all of the detour, because they closed that bridge. And when they closed this Lisbon Avenue bridge, it was quite a bit coming through here. But other than that, it's fairly calm. But I think maybe that can interfere with like the children playing outside, people being apprehensive, because if nobody obeys the stop signs, you don't want your children playing right there and they run in the street and somebody hits them, or yeah. And then it also might affect people's sleeping habits, because if you're speeding through with loud music at all times, you know.
Do you guys have any more questions?
Where do you do your shopping?
Grocery shopping? I go to Woodman's most of the time, which is in Menominee Falls. Woodman's. Some things I buy at Outpost or Whole Foods, because I don't just do all my grocery shopping, because they are expensive after a while. If I just need like one or two things, I run to this Pick and Save on 35th, but they don't really have a large selection of fresh fruits and vegetables, and I rarely eat meat, so that's why I go to a grocery store that provides, you know. Sometimes I go to that farmer's market when they have it, the Fond du Lac, farmer's market.
So whereabouts is Express Yourself? Is it near?
Yes, 34th in
Oh,
Lisbon.
okay.
Yep. Right next to the Amaranth Bakery.
Oh,
Did we talk when did you move into this building?
Did I talk to who?
when did you
When
move
did
in?
you-
Oh, when did I move in here? I think like officially all my junk was like July 4th, but I had the keys for several weeks because I was in here cleaning and painting and stuff. So
What did it look like before?
nothing like this, like, man,
Looks nice.
thank you.
It
I'm
feels
happy.
really fresh.
Thank
to be
you.
in here.
I like the style.
Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah, it seemed so hollow and just, I don't, like it needed something to fill it, but not with stuff, just like a positive energy or something, you know. It seemed real, yeah, that's the only way I can describe it, is like hollow.
So you decided not to kind of necessarily decorate it with stuff. It was more about just the energy that you
Well,
put
that,
into the place.
yeah, that's part of it, like adding the stuff I like to it. But I don't like a whole lot of stuff. I like space, so the energy can flow. I don't like a lot of clutter. So even if it looks kind of empty in here, I'm not getting any other furniture. This is how it's supposed to look.
That's super interesting to me. So if you could explain more about what you decided to put into this place, like that would be great. If you have any more.
Yeah. Well, I love art, so different forms of it I try to incorporate. I love color. I don't want it to be dull, but I don't want it to be obnoxious either. And the wall, this curry sauce, that's my favorite color, so that's why I painted it that color. Everything in here, like furniture-wise, was either given to me or my dad found it in someone's trash. Like this couch you're sitting on, someone gave that to me, and I put this fabric on it because I didn't like the fabric that was on it before. The only thing I bought was the chair you're sitting in from the antique store. It was $25.
It's the only thing you bought.
The only that I can think of, the only piece of furniture that I actually paid for. This chair I found in the trash. The chairs he's sitting in, someone gave me. Yeah, and even that leather chair we found in the trash.
That's an awesome find. That is an awesome find. Actually.
Yeah,
It's
thank
amazing.
you.
So nice.
Thank you.
Did you know anything about the people that lived here before?
I didn't. I heard that it was a Hmong family, maybe. When we were cleaning up the vent, we found some artwork from a child with names on it, you know, like mommy, daddy, whatever, but their names. We threw it away because we don't know who the people were that lived here. But I heard that it was the house was empty for 2 years before we moved in, and I was surprised at the way that it was not as raggedy on the inside, if you will, because I went into the house on 40th Street before they redid it, and the paint was peeling off the walls, you know, like it just looked like it had been empty for much longer than it had, but none of that happened in here, or it didn't look like that anyway, even though it needs work.
How do you like that colour? You said it was called
Curry sauce.
Wow.
Thank you.
So you said your dad lives downstairs. When did he move in?
The same time, yeah. Yeah, he was staying up here with me at first because there was somebody living downstairs. But then when that person, because he originally, the plan was for my dad to move in downstairs, you know, immediately. But somebody was still down there. Didn't want to kick that person out, so he stayed up here with me for, I don't know, maybe like a month or two. Yeah.
Did you guys help each other out with decorating?
No, I didn't do any of this until he kind of moved downstairs. I did paint the walls rather. No. So this is stuff that I chose.
Is there any of your own artwork or
Yeah, I have some of my artwork in the walls in there. Right there. Right here.
Can you explain this to us?
This is a woman / tree, like Mother Earth. I don't know if you can see how she... And
Do you know what, we're using this app called Picstory where we take a picture of something and then we record your voice over it. So
okay.
it's from my phone, so I'm just gonna take a picture.
it's kind of dusty. Get that off
okay.
of there.
I'm just gonna take a picture of it. Well, you can kind of see my reflection.
Is it a
in
you want me to turn it?
No, that's
side?
fine.
Okay. Yeah, this is should I read it?
Yeah.
Okay. I've been eating my veggies, but it doesn't change the fact that I want you. Try to eat the red kind, 'cause the green ones show too much truth. I suppose I lie a little here and there, but you do too. So let's cook together, and I can sample your happiness, 'cause lately you haven't been sharing any, and I'm starving over here without you. And I read it slow because it's written backwards. I was trying to figure it out. But yeah, that's just inspired by a friendship that I had Just leave it at that.
That's awesome. Thank you.
And that's supposed to be Erica Badu. And that painting with the eyes that are disproportioned is inspired by my grandmother. And this trick, there's this painting, or it's pastels on the wall way over there. My sister made that for me for Christmas present.
What we'll probably want to do is after this, like, go up and take a picture and
Yeah.
do a couple more of these. That would
Oh.
be really good. We would really like that.
Okay.
But do you guys have any more questions for this?
Biography.
But it's just like, we're just really interested in, I guess, anecdotes and just this maybe small precious memories or stories that you have. Maybe they're not precious, maybe they're not good, but doesn't matter what they're about.
Well, I'll share a story about that 40th Street house. I really liked the woodwork. It was a huge staircase that like went sideways and up, and it was just, it looked like sculpture, the way the wood was carved for the posts and the staircase, because it was so wide. I really liked that part of it, and I don't even think that's in that house anymore, unfortunately. I liked the attic of that house because it had a little small room. It was really spacious. Some of the spiritual hunting type stuff that occurred in there was really interesting, thinking back on it. Yeah. But I liked that house a lot. It had a lot of character, a lot of good memories, a lot of good food.
Fun memories.
Yeah. There was a fireplace in there too, so we had a lot of fires around holiday time and stuff.
That's cool. And do you want to share anything about? You talk about the spirits in the house. You don't have to.
I
you
got
wanna
plenty
s- you have
stories if you
with-
want me to.
Yeah, you totally
Sure.
want it.
Well, the lights came on by themselves before in the bathroom. The TV would come on by itself often, but always at the same time and always on the same channel. And it was like this, like 3 or 4 in the morning with this Christian, you know how they have those TV shows that are like, call in and pray with us. Have you guys ever seen or heard of that? It was always one of those programs that would be on, like the TV cutting on by itself. My dad and I'm a huge fan of X-Files, and we always would watch X-Files together. But sometimes when we were watching it, it would be at the part where it's like, oh man, what's gonna happen when they turn the corner? And the TV would change channels. So we would have to jump up and change it back because the remote wouldn't work all of a sudden. So stuff like that. I seen a little girl in that house before. She was standing on the wide staircase, and she had red eyes. And I didn't tell anybody because I'm like, maybe I am just watching too much TV or something. But my dad was speaking with me, and he said he was taking a nap, and he sat up because there was a little girl standing over him. So he like shook his head like, maybe I'm still half asleep, but the little girl walked past him and into the fireplace. So that confirmed that I must have seen something if he's seen the same thing without me even telling him. So then that's when I shared the story, like, oh, I saw that same little girl. The doors opened and shut by themselves. My music box that hadn't worked in like 2 or 3 years started playing, and it was this little ballerina on top of the mirror that works with a magnetic thing as the music plays, but it was broken, and the ballerina started moving and the music started playing. So I shut it and I put the music box in the attic because that freaked me out.
Were there parts of the house that you felt had more of a presence than other parts of the house?
Yeah, I feel like the basement, there was this little room off in the corner. And so when I would go down there to wash clothes, I was always in a rush because I felt like somebody was in that room. Yeah.
Could we take the address of that house?
Yes, 2014 North 40th Street. But I don't know who lives there now.
Okay.
And I probably have pictures of what it used to look like if you want me to send those to you sometime.
Yeah, that would be really good. Thanks.
What about here?
Any spirits here?
Yeah.
Well, in that house, it was like negative, and I was afraid sometimes, but in here, I'm not afraid. But I have seen shadows. I burned sage, but my sister said that she's seen like a negative force or whatever, but I have not. My dad, when he was staying up here with me, said he seen a woman coming out of that room. But like I said, I have not. The only thing that weirded me out that felt negative is when this couch was in that room, I was watching a movie and the cat was laying next to me asleep. And I seen something white, like a napkin or a towel, and this is my bedroom here. It flew out of the room, and I was like, well, maybe I'm just sleepy. But the cat jumped up, but she wouldn't come past the doorway, and she just kept staring in that direction. So I'm like, well, I know I'm not crazy if the cat is reacting from her being asleep to, you know what I mean? But yeah, I just said a prayer, burned some sage, and went on about my business.
Okay, that's really good. Do you want to go around now and do some pick stories?
Yeah.
Okay.
Sure.
Thank you.
Thank you.